Hello and welcome. I am No Coffee, No Life, and today we're going to be building at this water treatment facility just outside Summersville Dam. You know, the dam that David Thorpe blew up because he thought the responders had killed Rosalind and they hadn't. Anyways, we're going to build here today, and there are a couple of things you need to know in case you decide to do this after you watch this video, of course. The first thing is mobs are going to spawn here all the time. Every single time you load in, every time you visit your camp, they're going to be here. So expect that. The second thing is that every time there's an event, holiday scorched event, or the treasure mole miners, one of them is going to spawn here. They're going to spawn either in this parking lot or they're going to spawn in the building. So that's good for you because, you know, you're going to load into your camp and you're going to get a legendary for your daily, because those seem to happen a lot. Or, you know, you're going to get the goodies off of that special legendary. Another thing to note about this location is if you collect those little robot souvenir toys, there's one here. It spawns all the time. And if you're like me, you immediately scrap it, because you forget it's in your inventory and it was something that you were looking for, and then you picked it up and you said, oh, I'm going to keep it, and then you just scrapped everything because you realized you were heavily overweight because you're a hoarder like me. Anyways, the final thing about this spot is all those textures that you see on the floor, like the rubble and trash and whatnot, those will actually carry over to any foundation or floor item that you place on the ground. Some things, like the tires that you'll see me use later, don't have that, but most things, those textures will appear on. It'll also carry over to items that you place on the wall, so make note of that. It's a nice feature, a nice accidental feature that Bethesda will probably fix at some point in time. Hopefully not anytime soon. I'm gonna plug up the holes in this fence, this ratty, beat up chain link fence with junk walls, which I think is like everybody's friend, everybody who's picked them up. And I would strongly advise, if you really like building camps that don't look like they just got plunked down and they're out of place, if you like something that looks like it actually belongs in West Virginia after the bombs drop, then definitely pick up these junk walls. A lot of the stuff in the Atom shop is shiny, new, but these aren't, and they are totally worth getting. I wish, and Bethesda, if you're listening, it would be really great if you gave us the junk gate from Fallout 4 that belongs with these junk walls. It's not here yet, and I know it's wishful thinking that you would bring that gate in here too, into Fallout 76, but I'm hoping you do. Sooner rather than later, and preferably not as an Atom shop item. Maybe a quest reward. That would be nice. A quest reward as opposed to plunking out cash for an asset that is you know, has been around. You didn't have to reinvent the wheel. We've literally had it for a while now. Anyways, I will eventually get this all set up. I'm placing 2 turrets here next to this entrance, because mobs walk down the street and they show up down the street and they attack the camp, and I don't want them to attack the camp. I want them to die before they get here, because I don't know about you, but I hate coming back to a camp that's been trashed by mobs, and the mobs that people who zone in to buy things from my vendors, you know? I don't know, maybe I'm a fluke. Maybe I'm some weirdo who thinks of these things and doesn't like having that stuff happen. Maybe I should just give up and not place these turrets ever and just suck it up, take the loss. But I can't bring myself to do that now, so, you know, we're gonna put some turrets here, but we're gonna make them look like somebody actually wanted to raise them off the ground a little so they don't immediately get wailed on by the next mob that spawns in. So I'm gonna make a little wheel pile of tires, tires, wheels, tires. You understand what I'm talking about. They're gonna live here with their accompanying turret and a little Nuka-Cola lady that I'm gonna put up here, because why not decorate the outside of your gate with something from the old world? I mean, you know, all of this is technically old world, I suppose, but Nuka-Cola is pretty much guaranteed to be from the old world. Oh, I'm looking for this turret. Scrolling forever through my stored items. I can't bring myself to trash a bunch of the stored stuff just because I build so much. I don't want to have to rebuild something. And I just don't want to. I'll just reuse stuff over and over and over again. I can't be the only one, can I? Anyways, I'm going to put a tire up here because you can actually place a tire on the top of this junk wall, which is really nice. That it's wide enough that you could place something on top of it and it wouldn't look like utter garbage. I mean, not that this wall isn't made out of garbage, it is, but doesn't look out of place to have this little red tire sitting up there so that I can place a turret, make it look like it's doing its job of defending this camp from ghouls or Scorched, the errant Mothman, things like that. I am going to show you what happens when you put a foundation down and that carryover of texture. Remember how I said that the textures carry over to the foundations? Here's an example. I originally, when I decided to build here, I thought I would build some kind of little structure here as you're, going into the little water treatment outpost. And then I decided, no, it would make the place look too cluttered. Here is the gate that I'm going to place between these two junk walls. And I'll eventually place it just where it needs to be so that there's not so much of a gap on either side. Because, why would we want a gate that fit perfectly between two junk walls? I don't know. I don't know. Why would we? Can you think of a reason? Maybe we don't want some stragglers getting in? Some scorched stragglers getting in? I don't know. Who knows? Who can say? Somebody can. Eventually, this other little fence will clip to the other piece. Eventually. Come on. And recently, we got to buy these planners separate of their packages. And I did that because I don't really have any interest in any of the other crap that they were offering. Since this camp is more about making it look like a roadside stop and not really building some other giant structure at this location, just kind of adding to what's already here, I'm snapping those fences, decorating these planners kind of and you can hear my turrets at work as I happily work on this camp. This is what I ended up doing. I put all my vendors, I cluttered up that fence. So it's all full. It looks like, you could come here, buy something, and, continue on your way through the wasteland. Now to build in the back. You'll see me set up a small structure out here. It's nothing big. It's just big enough to hold the crafting stations and a tiny rundown lounge sleeping area for the person who would be living here. These foundations will snap through the existing concrete slab. It's just a matter of getting everything lined up the way you want it. I set it up and made it look like it's a half foundation. It's just enough space to put a crafting station and slap your wall down. Fun fact, these contemporary porches snap through, and if you do it right, all you'll see are the columns and the roof, and it'll look like a lean-to. Another fun fact, if you hear that warning while you're building, you should probably look at your map to see if you're about to get nuked. I'm going to put down these walls. I'm just going to use the wood walls. Nothing special. That section right there, you cannot place a wall because I'm right at the edge of the build area. So I have to put a junk wall there. Really quick, I'm going to show you where to put your power so it won't get attacked by mobs. And it's dead center of this building because there's a nice spot where you can drop a foundation and then place generators to power the rest of your camp. Now, you can't put a fusion generator in here, but you can put small generators, and these generators from the Atom Shop are actually really perfect for it, especially if you don't want anything making loud noises in your camp. These fit nicely between the foundation and the bottom of the building. They're a little tricky to put the wires to in here, and to get power out to the rest of your camp is a little tricky because you have to raise the power conduit, and you can't use the dirty bath mat power conduit method because it won't pass the wire through. It refuses to. So you're going to have to come up with a different way, and the best way to do it is to use the conduit junction and the conduit wall pass-through, which is not part of the basic power conduits that you get. You actually have to buy those, and I think Graham sells them, so you'll have to hunt him down if you don't have them, or find somebody who's selling it at their store. Earlier I mentioned that texture carrying over to other items. It does that with the walls here too. This flag picks it up really nice. Looks like an old beat up flag. These work great here. They fit right in with the rest of the paneling, and they provide a little bit of light. You won't be able to fit a tiny one right next to this one. It's just not enough space. It's just a little too small, probably because of that corner. Can add over on this side. You can add another piece. If you get too close to that box that's on the ground, you won't be able to put anything there. But you can put one of these here eventually, and a second smaller one next to it. You just have to keep moving it around because it doesn't like you placing things here. But you can do it. It's not impossible. And here's the final build. It looks great. It doesn't stick out. It looks like it belongs. This is obviously, personal taste. You put what kind of junk you want here, and what little sidekick you want. I have the old man here because he's one of the least offensive that you can put in your camp. As you can see, tons of spawns, tons of clutter added. It looks pretty much how I wanted it to. Everything seems in place. And here's the completed crafting station out back. Very simple. And there's a small area right behind these two stash boxes for, somebody to relax and sit down by the fire. If you made it to the end, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, then click on subscribe and click on the notification bell to get updates when new videos release. Happy building in the wastelands! If only there were a robot to clean